To the I Love CVille Show. My name is Jerry Miller. Thank you kindly for joining us, J-Dubs, when you can. The screen rebranding, please. Today's show is going to be an explosive one. I believe one thing that I think we have proven to you, the viewer and listener, as we air original content Monday through Friday on our flagship show, the I Love CVille Show, from 12:30 to 1:30 every day. I think one thing I've proven to you is we have a nose and an eye for news. What we are trying to do is be the water cooler of content and conversation in Charlottesville, Albemarle County, and Central Virginia. We don't want to break the news. We don't want to originate the news. We want to offer our commentary on the news. And today, within the hour, in fact, I can give you the exact time frame. About 45 minutes ago, somebody that I trust, and I hope this person is watching the program right now. I believe this person is. But somebody I trust sent me a text message of an undercover video that is now circulating online. I would imagine this video was captured with the Meta Ray-Ban glasses.
Possibly.
I think that's how this video was captured. Somebody is interacting with a staffer, an alleged staffer. I'm using the word alleged over and over again here to cover my ASS, okay? Someone is interacting with an alleged UVA staffer, and in this conversation, the alleged UVA staffer highlights the blueprint and the game plan for diversity, equity, and inclusion rebranding, a scheme or ploy to bamboozle the Trump administration and the Department of Justice, a scheme or ploy that's been instructed or organized or strategized by superiors who then ordered inferiors to carry out this mission. This scheme or ploy went pretty damn high up the totem pole, and she speaks exactly how high this climbed the UVA totem pole in this video. I'm using the word alleged over and over again. Alleged UVA staffer outlining a scheme or ploy to bamboozle the university, the Department of Justice, and the Trump administration as the University of Virginia is looking to change nothing with diversity, equity, and inclusion. Remember, UVA in the crossfire of the feds who said, basically Trump, if you don't make these changes, this federal funding, which is, depending on who you ask, somewhere between $500 million and $1 billion a year, and that's a massive delta, but it's a significant amount of money. And basically what's happening is Trump is saying if you don't eradicate this DEI from UVA, you risk losing federal funding. And interim President Paul Mahoney entered into an agreement, and this agreement basically promises the Department of Justice and the Trump administration that DEI is done at UVA. This agreement pissed off a lot of Virginia Democrats. And it pissed off a lot of Virginia Democrats like State Senator Creed Deeds and Delegate Katrina Colson, because they knew, Virginia Democrats, that the election cycle, we all knew this, that the election cycle was going to be an absolute travesty for Virginia Republicans. And it was the most significant voter turnout in Virginia history in a non-presidential election cycle. And Democrats, a blue tidal wave. Republicans look like a shadow of their former selves that gained momentum with Glenn Youngkin and Donald Trump captivating the country by winning their respective races. State Democrats thought that interim President Paul Mahoney should not have entered into this agreement with the Trump administration because they wanted an agreement to be signed or authored or opposed or thrown away by a not an interim president, but by a full-time president, one that would be appointed by a board of visitors that would be dramatically different, with Abigail Spanberger in the governor's mansion and Glenn Youngkin sunsetting in the governor's mansion. So I am going to play this video that was sent to me. I'm going to respect the anonymity and privacy of who sent this to me. How we get information on this program is we understand the concept of anonymity, privacy, off the record, on the record, and taking care of our sources. That's how we continue to get information. Once I play this video, I am confident, if this is true, and I'm using the word alleged, I'm going to put a bio of who's the bio picture from the UVA website on screen next to the video of who's talking. Once this video airs, my instinct suggests, as someone who's worked in print, radio, and television before launching his business in 2008, and someone who creates content on a daily basis, my instinct suggests that this is going to be a national news story. That this will be in the Richmond Times-Dispatch, the Washington Post, New York Times, Fox News, and beyond. So giddy up and get ready. If you appreciate the show, hammer the like button, subscribe to our YouTube channel, support our sponsors, our partners. Oak Valley Custom Hardscapes is a great one. Anything custom hardscape related, Oak Valley Custom Hardscapes is who you should contact. I know firsthand. And folks, the value of a custom hardscape at your house or your business, whether it's a fire pit, a bluestone patio, something around your swimming pool, something in your backyard, it's not just return on investment, it's return on experiences. Oak Valley Custom Hardscapes, ladies and gentlemen. Carol Thorpe, Tom Powell, Vanessa Parkhill, giddy up and get ready. Tell somebody this is about to air. Judah Wickhauer, do you have the video ready to go?
Yep.
All right, how long is this video?
3 minutes and 9 seconds.
This is just over 3 minutes. Giddy up and get ready. I'm using the word alleged UVA staffer in this video. Unknowingly recorded by someone she is interacting with. And now this video is, I think, on the cusp of making national news. All right, viewers and listeners, grab your coffee. Hell, you might want to grab your bourbon here. And I understand it's 12:45 in the afternoon. Judah Wickhauer in 3, and 2, and 1.
It's happening, like DEI work is happening. So we're all like a network of like one unit that's doing this work. And having, what we're trying to have is, and formerly was more obvious, is identity development programming. Yeah. All that stuff is still happening. It's just much less obvious on the website because we have received and are concerned about receiving further complaints about our work. We're doing more work to kind of hide them from people who are like outside perspectives that might register complaints against our work, which we've already had. So we're trying to do it on a more like quiet but still like active, just not as obvious to the outside world. It's just less obvious if you're outside the university. Everyone's working together to try to figure out how to keep the work going, while also not eliciting outside complaints. So like, you know, changing like names of things like that, but continuing to do the work is like advised by our leadership to continue to do the work, just to make it less obvious that we're doing. So after he left, we were like, ooh, let's get things a little quieter. In terms of like presidential and like interim presidential eyes, that kind of position, don't really know what we do. Don't have as many eyes on us. We did have an office that was an office for diversity, equity, and inclusion. That office is, all the people are still there. They have, their office is now like the office of like community engagement, partnerships, and like equal opportunity. The main thing that they've adjusted or like under review is like educational programming, the partnerships they maintain with outside organizations, the like civil rights things that they did for the university are all still like happening, and the other things are kind of like under review for compliance. I think the major concern is like losing funding. I think it's trying to navigate how to like continue best serving members of our community while also not eliciting any threats or action. The research funding at the university is federal funding that can be pulled. So the like things that are being navigated are like, how do we maintain all of the funding while also serving our students well? It's also made like our ability to do like outreach much harder, and like to have things be much more obvious would be great, and how it used to be, but it's just,
But if that happens, the funding will be pulled.
Potentially, yeah. We've gotten, I mean, that's what like the DOJ was investigating. It's a lot of the marketing things that have been changed. Renaming programs is like a marketing like ploy. So students who like have been here before like know what we're doing, and then we're trying to also help new students understand in a more subtle way. But from an outside perspective, it looks different. Adding in language that's like, this program is open to all, but it has a specific focus to it, the way that we market for things. And so it's a lot of like marketing changes, like updating the website to not be as like, I don't know, revealing of things. People at UVA, I think, generally kind of know what's happening and have no issue, for the most part, have no issue with it. It's like the outside eyes that have issues.
And that video cannot be more incriminating.
And
Two-shot Judah Wickower. That video cannot be more incriminating. I think she actually uses the word ploy in the video. She also highlights the surprising departure of the president of the university, which we are to believe, if this is in fact an alleged UVA staffer, I'm using the word alleged again, is Jim Ryan.
I did note that at the very end, she does use UVA.
Yeah, at the end, it was tough to make out.
No, I heard 100% UVA.
Okay, so you heard UVA.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, what we're going to do to try to, we're still going to use the word alleged, because we're not going to have any exposure here for a talk show that we're doing here when we make our actual living in commercial real estate. But we're common sense based people, and we have the internet at our disposal, and her name is on this alleged video. So a basic Google search. And you can find the alleged UVA staffer's bio online. Can we screen grab the alleged bio and put it on screen? Mm-hmm. Let me know when that bio is on screen.
There it is.
Look at the screen. This is the alleged UVA staffer's bio. This person utilizes pronouns they and them. This alleged staffer utilizes pronouns they and them. Their name is Carissa Temerson, allegedly. Carissa, I'll read from they or them's bio. Carissa is a 2020 graduate of the University of Chicago with a degree in political science, Spanish, and human rights. They joined Multicultural Student Services as a program coordinator in July 2022. Prior to joining UVA, Carissa worked in admissions at a small liberal arts college in Virginia, recruiting first-generation and Latinx students. They love to cook, do all kinds of puzzles, crosswords, jigsaws, escape rooms, puzzle boxes, play board games with their partner, cuddle their cats. Chris is currently getting their master's in social work from Virginia Commonwealth University. In their current role as assistant director, Carissa oversees the LGBTQ Center Intercultural Education Initiatives and Assessment for Multicultural Student Services. Now, the next thing we can do with production technology, because we got a little production skill set, is we could put they and them's bio, Carissa Temerson, next to the video. How are you going to do that so we can give the play-by-play for the viewers and listeners?
No, I've got the bio photos zoomed in so that the video will play next to it. And
okay.
You can judge for yourself.
And we can do that now?
Yeah.
Okay, tell the viewers and listeners, give them a countdown. And I'm actually seeing this for the first time as well, so I'm excited to see what you're doing here. Give a countdown to the viewers and listeners of when they should look at the screen.
All right. 3, 2, 1.
Okay, and what are we explain what we're seeing here, Judah?
DEI work is happening, so we're all like a network of like one unit that's doing this work, and having what we're trying to have is
image of
formerly was more obvious is identity development programming. All that stuff is still happening.
And just keep it on screen for viewers and listeners to utilize their own skill set. I'm going to horizontal mode on my iPhone. If you're watching on your iPhone, you're going to want to hold it landscape-wise, horizontal-wise.
That might.
And you be the determining factor if this alleged UVA staffer is in fact Carissa Temerson, allegedly. I'm not. It's up to you guys. Would you say there are similarities here?
I would say that if you remove the glasses from the video, it is fairly,
alleged.
It is allegedly an exact match.
Okay. I concur allegedly. If we can go to the two-shot here, Judah Wickhauer of UNI. So you dissect what you heard, or you break down what you heard on that 3-minute video.
What I heard was someone getting into a bit of detail on how UVA has navigated the waters of Trump's DOJ, bringing down the hammer on schools with major DEI initiatives, and essentially saying that they've shuffled things around, they've hidden things, and changed names, and so that the DEI initiatives that were ongoing at UVA and the cause of much trouble with the federal government and potentially President Ryan leaving his seat, that it's all just been moved into the shadows and still exists. I don't know about exactly as it was before, but it sounds as though it is allegedly running just as strongly as ever.
Kelly Jackson, watching the program, her photo on screen says, ChatGPT says it's her when I showed it both pictures. We did something similar as well. We still have to cover our tail and use the word allegedly. We love Kelly Jackson on the show. Carol Thorpe has found an active Facebook page for this alleged UVA staffer as well. Carol Thorpe, the Queen of Jack Jewett, also says dishonesty on an epic level. Weasley activity that deserves to be exposed. This is going to go national in a very bad way for UVA. My nose for news also suggests that as well. Carol Thorpe, I concur. This is just one man's commentary here, and I guess that's why you listen to the show. At bare minimum, this is if this is in fact true. At bare minimum, this is fraud.
Yeah.
This is, at bare minimum, this is fraud where the University of Virginia is bamboozling the federal government, specifically the Department of Justice and the Trump administration. Mm-hmm. I don't know if you've heard this or not, Judah, but this guy that's the president of the United States, I believe his name is Donald Trump, history kind of suggests that he's somewhat vindictive and does not like to be crossed or lied to, and that his response to being crossed and lied to, humiliated and embarrassed, is one that is of nastiness in its basis.
Scorched earth?
Scorched earth is a great description. You've heard that, right, about this president?
I think we've all seen that he can be a spiteful, vindictive, you know what.
I think we've all seen that as well. In this video, this alleged UVA staffer is alluding to what appears to be much more than fraud. It appears to me that this is racketeering. I'm no lawyer, and I did not stay at a Holiday Inn Express last night. I am a guy that can Google and use some ChatGPT. I am a guy that said with the Craig Kent stuff and the Kenterprise when it initially broke, I utilized the label white-collar racketeering, and there's lawsuits against the Kenterprise on what we said was going to materialize. Seems to me that this is a coordinated effort, which is a key characteristic of racketeering, that there's a pattern of behavior and it's disguised as legitimate with a motive with a clear-cut motive. Those are clear, very clear characteristics of racketeering. How high this went? Did it go as high as the president? She actually alludes to a president here. She alludes to a president surprisingly no longer being the president, and then she alludes to an interim president. Last I heard that there was a surprise resignation by Jim Ryan and that there's an interim president in Paul Mahoney. She alludes that her superiors are in on the ploy or the scheme. She actually uses the word ploy in this 3-minute plus video.
Yeah.
Whoever is having this conversation with her, I can't imagine is having the conversation. If you look at me, Judah, and you and I are talking, I can't imagine this person is holding their phone like this. So it leads me to believe it's the Meta Facebook glasses, the Ray-Bans.
That or a GoPro, or I'm sure there are other ways, but yeah, she doesn't give the appearance of knowing that she's being recorded. And I would, if I had to make a guess, she sounds like she's talking to someone who has who has fed her the line that they have completely drank the Kool-Aid and are on board with whatever's going on, and she's maybe telling them what the job entails if they take it.
Yeah, that's a perfect description of what I think. That's very well said. You know, and here's the timing, the terrible timing. Mahoney, and just very recently, days ago, right? You know, very recently signed an official agreement with Trump and the DOJ that the University of Virginia would eradicate and eviscerate diversity, equity, and inclusion from Thomas Jefferson's University. Paul Mahoney, the interim president, signed that.
Yeah.
And he went as far as saying, not only will I sign this agreement, interim President Paul Mahoney, but I will allow you, the University of Virginia, on a quarterly standpoint, once every 3 months, to audit the university. We'll open up our books for you. To show you, to confirm with you that DEI is eradicated from UVA. So days ago, an interim president signs an agreement with the Department of Justice to preserve federal funding, somewhere in the neighborhood of $500 to $1 billion a year in federal funding. We're talking a boatload of money, right? Federal funding contributions to the University of Virginia. The UVA budget, operating budget on a yearly basis, we learned this from Bert Ellis, $5.3 billion. So if you're getting minimum $500 million in federal funding, you're talking 10% of your budget. If you go up to $1 billion, you're talking 20% of your budget here. They desperately need this money, the University of Virginia, the feds, contributions to Thomas Jefferson's University. Days ago, interim President Paul Mahoney signs an interim agreement saying there's no more DEI. You can audit us. We'll open up your books. Now this story is breaking on the I Love CVille show. I see print, radio, and television watching our program right now, including print in Richmond, print in Northern Virginia watching our program right now. I encourage the legacy media that's watching this program to investigate this video content, and whether this alleged video content, we don't profess to be investigative reporters. We don't profess to be journalism here. These are people that are using local content to host a talk show and offer their commentary. That's the whole premise of this. And we encourage the investigative reporters watching this program to ask if the alleged person in that video is UVA staffer Carissa Temerson, and how that impacts the agreement interim President Paul Mahoney signed with the Department of Justice, and how that could impact the federal funding allocated to the University of Virginia from the Trump administration. This is a major storyline, ladies and gentlemen. This is national news, if not global news, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, no doubt.
This is a significant storyline, and makes Paul Mahoney and his agreement with the Trump administration and the DOJ look either disingenuous, poorly timed, or I say this all the time at our firm, ignorance is not an excuse. Paul Mahoney can't make the comment, I didn't know this was going on. Ignorance is not an excuse when you're a president of an organization, a chairman or a CEO of an organization. Ignorance is not an excuse. It's under your watch. BOV, Board of Visitors, it's under their watch. You got a Pandora's box that's been opened here. Viewers and listeners, let us know how you think this is going to play out. Deep Throat's got some comments. His photo on screen. Number one in the family here. Gosh, what a crazy story. Deep Throat says, hope they or them are polishing up their resume. From the look of the hair and the headshot, I'm thinking, I'm not going to say this. He is making a comment, zigging a comment on the hair of the bio picture. You want to show the bio picture again? He says, all kidding aside, I'm curious what the remedies are for violations of the settlement with UVA and the DOJ. Are those remedies detailed in the settlement itself, or are their remedies more a matter of general background law? That's a great question. What are the same? I wonder the same. Tom Powell, founder of Toy Lift, says that you know what is about to hit the fan right now. 100%.
Yeah.
100%. This will be in the Washington Post. This will be in the Richmond Times-Dispatch, the New York Times. This will be all over Fox News.
Yeah,
Rebecca Malpin-Simmons, and then you, Judah, says, this definitely will be national news, no doubt. You guys are right about that. Janice Boyce-Trevelyan, what the heck is going on at UVA? Is that what they are teaching? It's in the hospital and the school. They are all crooks. What's going on? She makes a reference to the Kenner Prize and the white-collar racketeering that's going on at the Kenner Prize. I'm going to add this. As the father, I have, my wife and I have 2 sons, right? My dad went to UVA. My brother went to UVA. I went to UVA. We have 2 sons. My wife is Irish Catholic. My mother is Cuban, born in Cuba, migrated to Florida when she was in 3rd grade, unable to speak English. My dad is, just an American, just a regular old white guy. So half Cuban, I'm half Cuban and half, I guess my dad's German descent, but he was born in Hampton, Virginia. His parents also American. He's American. So half Cuban, half American. My wife, her family, all over Catholic. We were raised Southern Baptist. She was raised Catholic. As parents of 2 little boys, a 7-year-old and a soon-to-be 3-year-old. Our youngest turns 3 on Thanksgiving, and he's a terror. He's learned a bad word, and he says the bad word at the most inopportune times possible, including in front of other kids, around the squash courts, at daycare, in school, and the bad word rhymes with duck. And it's funny, when the little boy says the bad word initially, you chuckle and laugh, and he gets attention from it and likes the attention. And then he starts saying it at chapel or at church at decibels where the entire sanctuary can hear, and you're humiliated. That's what we're navigating right now. But I'm so proud of these guys. I love them dearly. My heart, they're my heart walking outside my body. I want what's best for our boys. Our oldest has been taking squash lessons, and there's few things in life that I'm more proud of than watching our oldest do something that I enjoy, that he's very much enjoying and finding an appreciation for. I mentioned this to my son, and he obviously didn't appreciate this because he's 7, that there's one man on earth that is going to want him to be better than I'm the only person on earth that's going to want him to be better than me at whatever he's doing. And I sincerely mean that. There's nothing that would mean more, that would make me happier than watching our 2 boys far exceed my wife and I in every accomplishment in life. I love them dearly. Mm-hmm. And it pains me to know that a school that my dad went to, my brother went to, and I went to will look at my son, our sons, as inferiors in the application process because they're white. It pains me to know a school and a university that's had a significant impact in my life, my brother's life, my family's life, my father's life, will look at our sons because they were born white children as not equals in an application process.
Racism in the service of anti-racism.
And look, Trump is a lot of things. I'm not going to be here and say this about Trump or that about Trump. He's a lot of things. But I think we all are not all, maybe a lot of you may disagree with me here. I'm going to say this because it's a show about commentary, and I offer my commentary. It's an opinion-based show whether you like it or not. As we head into 2026, the year 2026, right? I'd love our next generation of leaders, whether they pursue higher education or not, that this generation is judged on an even playing field based on their classroom performance, their academic performance, their standardized test performance, their extracurricular activity performance, their athletic performance, and not disadvantaged or advantaged based on the color of their skin. Admissions should be based on an even playing field and not the family you were born into. And if you have a problem with that, I'm okay. I'm extremely comfortable on that hill. Extremely comfortable. And I thought the eradication of DEI at UVA was a positive to returning the University of Virginia to an even playing field that prioritized performance over ethnicity.
Yeah.
And when I hear what is essentially middle management, I mean, this alleged staffer is middle management, say on record that her superiors, her upper management, are just rebranding diversity, equity, and inclusion as different names and using words like ploy and cover up and rebranding. It saddens me.
I mean, she mentions the fact that they're doing a lot of this to prevent losing funding.
Yeah, she straight up says, we are doing this to keep money coming from the feds in.
Yeah.
And that saddens me. That saddens me. That's at minimum fraud.
I was a little bit leery about throwing the word racketeering at it, but giving it some thought. I mean, they're lying to the government to get federal funds.
Yeah, these are the key characteristics of racketeering: coordinated effort, pattern of behavior, disguised as legitimate for the motive of profit. And the federal funds keep these folks employed and their research going.
Yeah.
That's racketeering.
Lying to the government
That's
to get
RICO.
federal funds. Mm-hmm.
That is RICO. And we are in this world now. The interesting thing is, had this case had broken, I wonder if this storyline had broken instead of 2 days after the election, and instead had broken 2 months prior to the election, if it had changed the results of Tuesday's election. If this storyline was present 2 months ago instead of 2 days after the election, how could it have driven a different level of engagement? One of our headlines, and you can put it on screen, this was the most significant level of election engagement in Virginia history in a non-presidential year. In the history of the effing Commonwealth of Virginia, ladies and gentlemen, you had the most significant voter turnout in a non-presidential year ever. Mm-hmm. And I'm not a Republican. I'm not a Democrat. I fancy myself center-aisled. I'm physically conservative and socially liberal. Okay? I don't care. I don't care who you're slapping skins with. I don't care what God you worship. I don't care your position on marriage. I don't care what wacky tobacco you're smoking. I don't care if you're growing the wacky tobacco and the hippie lettuce. I don't care. Just don't want you telling my family what to do, how we're going to spend our money, and how we're going to think, what we're going to wear, how we're going to cover our face, and whether or not we can leave the house or not, and how we can patronize businesses. Okay? I do care that my kids, our sons, are on an even playing field for their future. And right now, clearly they are not. Clearly they are not. If this is happening at the premier public university in the nation, what else is happening? If someone is speaking, then you go ahead. If someone is speaking so brazenly about racketeering and fraud, what are they doing behind closed doors when no one's watching?
The University of Personal Honor is reveling in lying and cheating.
There you go. Vanessa Parkhill watching the program, her photo on screen, the Queen of Earlysville. Regular white guys in America have ethnic and cultural heritage too. You're selling your dad's heritage short. Could be English, Irish, Scottish, German, French, Norwegian, Swedish, etc. Family could have come in the 1700s or during the Industrial Revolution. Vanessa Parkhill, well said. My father, German descent. Very well said. 100%. Extremely proud of my mother's side in particular because they migrated from Cuba to run away from Castro in a dictator's regime where people like my mother and her family were being literally killed because they were advocates and leaders of democracy in Cuba. My Mima, my grandma in particular. So they get on a boat at night. My parents approach my mom after dinner on a school day and say, pack the things that are most important to you in a backpack. You, me, Mima, Poppy, my mom, the three of us, my mom and her parents, are going to go on a boat after dinner, at night, on a school night, we're going to leave all your friends behind. We're never going to see them again. We're going to leave our house behind that we own, our jobs that pay us well, and we're going to go to Miami, Florida, where we have no place to sleep, no jobs, and only know some other people that have done what we're doing right now weeks ago. And Mima and Poppy went from an upper middle class life. My mom went from an upper middle class life in Cuba to Poppy being a ditch digger and my mom and my Mima being a hotel maid. And my mom being put in the 3rd grade without being able to speak English, where she was ridiculed mercilessly because she couldn't speak English, but new kids were making fun of her. And even at this day, when this comes up, you see emotions and pain on her face because of the nastiness that she experienced. I'm proud of my mom.
Yeah.
She made it to an associate's degree. She was the manager of bank tellers. When my dad, who was working for Arthur Andersen at the time, a UVA graduate, was there to audit the bank and was working side by side with my mom as he was auditing this bank in South Florida as a fresh out of UVA accountant and CPA.
Yeah.
3 weeks later, after one chaperone date, one peck on the cheek, he proposed to her. I'm proud of that story. And I know the sacrifices my parents made to get my brother and I where we are today. And it's interesting, my parents recently said that my brother and I, where we are today, are further along than my parents ever gotten, and that made them so prideful. That made them so full of pride. And I sincerely mean this. If our 2 sons go further than my wife and I can speak for my wife, I never do, but I will in this case, but if our 2 sons go further than my wife and I, where we are today, we will also beam in pride. We want that. And to know that this rite of passage that we call college and university is one that's gatekeepered by people like this alleged person who is brazenly speaking about racketeering and fraud,
Yeah.
is saddening. It's terribly saddening. Oh, comments coming in. Let's get to some comments. Jason Noble says, unfortunately, we cannot afford to be so libertarian these days, Jerry. They aren't going to just leave us alone. And he's knocking my, center aisle, fiscally conservative, socially liberal ideology. James Watson, watching the program. Tremendous respect for James Watson. Seems to be UVA has been primarily Northern Virginia. If you took away the football team, there'd be almost no black students there. Look at the crowd at the next game. I don't think the attendance at the university at Scott Stadium is a reflection per se of the student body. And James, I love you. I actually saw him 2 days ago. 2 days ago. You have 2 sons as well. Would you not want your 2 sons, like my 2 sons, admitted on merit, academic, athletic, and extracurricular and standardized tests on an even playing field? I do. Tom Powell says, you should be proud, Jerry. I am proud. Deep Throat's got some statistical data, students by race in the fall of 2021. He says, Asian students, 16% of the student body in the fall of 2021. Black and African American students, 7%. Hispanic, 7%. Multiracial, 5%. Non-resident alien, 5%. Race or ethnicity, unknown, 5%. And white is 55%. So the data he shows from 2021 is that half the student body at UVA, half is white. 55%.
Yeah.
where Asian, Black, African American, Hispanic, multiracial, non-resident alien, or race ethnicity unknown is 45%. I will say this, it's incredible. Then you go ahead. I apologize for interrupting you. It's significantly much more diverse than when I attended. Not even close, significantly more diverse. Go ahead.
So what are they telling us with those numbers, or trying to tell us?
What, Deep Throat?
Yeah, is that
He's just showing us
how diverse it is now?
I don't even think he's trying to show us how diverse it is now.
Those
He's
are
just
the
giving us a
numbers.
baseline of
Yeah.
the demographics of the students.
Yeah. And those are numbers from the 2021 would have been in the middle of all of these
Of COVID.
COVID, but also the DEI initiative going on at UVA.
Then he shares a composition, the overall state demographics. Is this the overall state demographics, Deep Throat, of the Commonwealth? This is the overall state demographics of the Commonwealth of Virginia. The composition, the racial composition you're sending us, Deep Throat? The overall racial composition of the Commonwealth of Virginia, 60% white. 55% white at UVA.
Yeah.
So if it's overall Commonwealth composition, white 60%, and the University of Virginia is at 55%, then it shows the University of Virginia is what?
Is more diverse than than the state itself, the Commonwealth. But another thing I would note is that as far as we know, DEI is alive and well at UVA. Even if you were to stamp it out, expunge it, get rid of all the all the professors, all the tenured staff, all of the all of the positions like the alleged woman in the video, you would still have a university that is not, as far as I know, is not following any racist initiatives. As far as we know, they're not preventing black people from applying. They're not preventing anyone else from applying. And so what is the DEI for? What is it doing if it's not opening the way in some form or another? Is the DEI
make sure we have the right lower third on screen. I also want to. This is a heavy, complicated topic.
Mm-hmm.
Heavy, complicated topic. We also have partners that we need to highlight on the show. I want to offer some attention to a family of incredible integrity, the Vermillions, who own Charlottesville Sanitary Supply. The Vermillions are 5 generations in Albemarle County, and their family business is 3 generations strong, and they've been in operation for 61 years. And the Vermillions, I've seen it firsthand, they provide service at a business that caters to all walks of life. All walks of life. Men of honor and integrity. Mm-hmm. The type of honor and integrity we're not seeing here at UVA.
Yeah.
Charlottesville Sanitary Supply and online at charlottesvillesanitarysupply.com. Deep Throat to Judah's question. The DEI is for the DEI department employees. Make work program for people credentialed in worthiness disciplines. White collar busy work for the overproduced elite.
Yeah. My point being, little would change without DEI at UVA. They would not go to 100% white students. They would not. Deep Throat is right. DEI is essentially to fund all of the people working.
White collar busy work for
DEI.
overproduced elite,
Yeah.
which further reinforces the racketeering nature of what's happening.
Yeah.
The people that are employing this ploy are doing so to sustain, preserve, protect their white collar busy work for their overproduced, overvalued, overpaid education
Yeah.
and the positions that came with it.
Right.
This comment comes in. Sabrina Spafford, despicable violation of the honor code. Absolutely heartbreaking. This comment comes in from Philip Dow with Mom Donnie coming into power and what he wants to push. It scares me. I've read he will become the leader of the Democratic Party. Well, let's see what happens to Manhattan. It's something like 1 or 2 the top 1 or 2% from a wealth standpoint in Manhattan is like 48 to 50% of the tax base.
No doubt.
And when you push the top 1 or 2% out of Manhattan because you want to create a smoke and mirror plan of equity, you're just eroding your tax base, which diminishes the capital to drive affordability initiatives. It's the most obvious thing ever. But it might not be so obvious because it's happening everywhere.
Well, it's that metronome. Swing back and forth between who you believe and who you think's gonna save you.
Rebecca Maupin-Simmons, this has 2 elements of a RICO case, I believe, enterprise and connection to an enterprise. And it's in the shadows of the other RICO case at UVA Health.
Yeah.
Do you have 2 active RICO cases going on right now? The 123 marker of the show. This is a heavy topic. Obviously, we're going to talk about this topic tomorrow. I think the video we just showed you, ladies and gentlemen, it's about to be national news. I think what we just showed you that you probably watched here for the first time on a talk show that features 2 guys in a 1,000-square-foot room in downtown Charlottesville is going to be the fodder for national news cycles and is going to draw the scrutiny and ire of one of the most vindictive people alive today. And that man who's one of the most vindictive people alive today, whether you like it or not, has the keys to the Brinks truck that funnels $500 million to $1 billion a year to the University of Virginia.
It's about to get crazy.
That, ladies and gentlemen, is the conclusion of the Thursday edition of the I Love CVille Show. For Judah Wickower, my name is Jerry Miller.